Hey, American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Northern Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Northern Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
And good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is meteorologist Heather Kay, and it's time for our daily hail forecast sponsored by Merlin Law Group, C3 Group, as well as American Contractor. Thank you guys, as always, for sponsoring our videos. So let's just jump right into our weather headlines. We do have a few areas that we're going to be watching for some severe weather today. We have one in the west, as well as a small risk in North Carolina and down into Florida. So we'll check out those in just a few minutes. And then tomorrow we do have another risk to see severe weather, possibly from Kansas down into Oklahoma and Texas, and then we could see an active Mother's Day as well. So we'll talk about that. And before we get into our forecast, we do have the Calm Before the Storm tournament near Denver, Colorado on May 20th. So that is coming up in a few weeks. To be more specific, it's going to be at the Fox Hollow Golf Course. So make sure if you are interested in going to that you go and sign up for that tournament. And then Sunday, we do have Mother's Day. So we got to thank all of our moms for dealing with all of our weather shenanigans over, let's see, I've been here 7 years, John's been here for 7, Frank's been here for 6, all the way down to, a year. So thank you guys for all that you do. We love you, and keep tuning into all that we do here because, yeah, the support's always good, right? Okay, so let's jump into our current conditions. For the most part, it's pretty quiet. We do have some showers across parts of Kansas and eastern Oklahoma getting into Arkansas. The low pressure that has been causing the severe weather the last few days is moving offshore, but some lingering showers and even a few rumbles of thunder are remaining from Pennsylvania down south into the Virginias and into North Carolina. And it looks like there's going to be some showers in my neck of the woods back home in Michigan. And then down south into Florida, it looks to be pretty quiet right now, but things could be changing as we get later on this afternoon. We'll talk about that in just a second. We're going to zoom into a few different areas for a closer look at our radar. This is the main area that we'll be watching for severe weather later on this afternoon and evening. Currently, right now, it is pretty quiet. A lot of sunshine out there, except for in Montana. We do have some showers going on in the western part of the state, as well as some more cloud cover. And again, dry for the rest of our main area of concern at this time, but that could possibly be changing as we get into this evening. Getting into the Carolinas, we did have some severe weather. Some a quarter up to even isolated golf ball size hail happened in the southeastern part of the state. That activity has now moved offshore, and we do have some more showers and storms developing to the west of Raleigh, North Carolina right now. And some of these may become severe, although the chances look to be relatively low. And now going to southern Florida, Miami, you are quiet at the moment. A lot of sunshine right now, but we will be watching you guys later on this afternoon for the potential for large hail. Zooming out for the entire United States, taking a look at our temperatures. It's a little chilly in Minneapolis, 54 right now, comfortable in Kansas City at 72. You go south though to Texas, warming up into the upper 70s, and even down into Houston, you're getting into the 80s right now. It's 85 there. Ooh, we are now at 90 degrees in Miami, so plenty of fuel there for storms later on this afternoon. And taking a look at the dew points, it's actually pretty dry across most of the United States. Miami, you're sticking out like a sore thumb right now. 69 degrees for your dew point, so it's pretty sticky down in Florida and Texas. You do have some moisture there for you guys too, but otherwise it's pretty dry across the United States. Now looking at our Cape values, this is the instability needed for that severe weather. It actually doesn't look very impressive for our main area later on today. This is at 2 p.m. You can see the Cape values don't look very high, and it's going to continue to be like that for the rest of the day. I do think any storms that do develop will be elevated in nature and not surface-based, and that makes sense since the Cape values at the surface don't look very good. Florida, though, down in Miami, you can see that there is some more instability for you guys. At 2 p.m. for North Carolina, the values look pretty low as well. As we get into later on this afternoon, this is at 5 p.m. Again, the values start to go up a little bit in Kansas, but not very impressive. Again, I do think anything along this region is going to be higher up, elevated storms. So it's going to be very isolated, very few, far in between, if they even get to develop at all. Getting later on into the evening, pretty much the same story. Down in Florida, still a decent amount of instability for you guys, although I do think by 8 p.m. those storms will be moving off the coast. You guys should be quiet by then. And then getting into the overnight, you can see the values start to drop off even more, and it should be a quiet overnight period. So yeah. Let's talk about the future radar. Again, there are going to be 3 areas that we're going to be taking a look at. This is the first one across the major risk that we'll be seeing today, the largest area. So this is later on at 1:30. Not a whole lot in terms of storm development. Getting to 6 p.m. though, Central Time, we will start to see some thunderstorm development going on in Montana. So Billings, you do have a chance to see some large hail this evening, but otherwise very, very, very few storms.
It appears our receiver has died once again. Give us a moment.
Hey guys, so Heather's receiver died, so we are getting ourselves back on here. Should be here to talk, Heather.
Hello.
Hang on. Did you actually turn it on? Hang on. So let's give it a second here.
Are we good? Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
Oh my god, this makes sense.
Heather's microphone pack also has died, so we'll give it a second here.
Take your mic back off.
This is really evil.
Okay. So,
Oh my dear Lord.
fortunately, Heather's
Yeah,
having a
gotcha.
little bit of technical difficulties, but I think I'm just going to kind of roll with whatever she had for the forecast here. Just going to keep this going. We're going to push ahead here to this evening as about 9:30. Let's see, we have some storms moving through. I'm assuming we're going to have activity form in the overnight hours, especially over by Kansas City. That could potentially be minorly severe. We're going to go up to the East Coast here, where the majority of the hail threats already occurred here across North Carolina. And through the evening, there could be a couple other storms here. This is at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, so at 4:30 on the East Coast. Could be some isolated supercells east of I-95 in North Carolina that could have some marginally severe hail as well. And that will move off the coast and calm down by the time the sun's going down around 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And as
Yes.
we move in the overnight hours, the severe threat on the East Coast will be ending pretty early there, and we continue into the next morning, and that all wraps up pretty good. Finally, we're checking out here in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. Some supercells could form right along the coast there at about between 3 and 4 p.m. Central Time, so between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Time in Miami, Florida. Those can pose a risk for some marginally severe hail, gusty winds, all that jazz, and that continues. Possibly storms forming all along right off the coast there by Fort Lauderdale and Miami well into the evening hours, and that should wind down once the sun goes down this evening as well, as we push all the way to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning there. So this is your hail forecast for today that Heather had put together. Let's check out what we got here. We have 3 different areas we're looking at. We have from Montana all the way down into North New Mexico and parts of the Texas Panhandle, possibly hail up to golf ball size there along far eastern Colorado and into western Kansas. And you got your audio back up?
Yes,
Heather?
it's
All right,
working.
Heather's back in here. She can take over now.
Okay.
And I think we good. We have fresh
We
batteries
do like
in
the
here, so
fancy
you'll be
dance
fine.
coming back in. Let's hope everything stays alive now, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so we do have 3 areas that we're going to be watching. The first one's going to be from Montana down into the Panhandle of Texas, and then 2 smaller areas. North Carolina could see some hail again this afternoon, as well as into Florida. So let's jump into the first one. Billings, low chance for you guys, up to $50 size hail for you. Cheyenne, the same story. And we could see up to golf ball size hail. This is going to stay east of Denver. Sorry, you guys. Hopefully another day. But up to golf ball size hail for any storms that could get going from far eastern Colorado to western Kansas. Low chance for Garden City, and up to $50 size hail again if storms could develop for Amarillo. Jumping over to North Carolina, again another chance for hail for you guys this afternoon for any new storm development. Up to $50 size hail for Wilmington, and then finally down into Miami. I think we do have a decent chance to see up to $50 size hail for you guys for basically, we'll get into that in just a second for the time frame, but for this afternoon into this evening. Same story for the wind. We do have 3 areas that we're going to be watching. The first is right along from Montana down into far eastern Colorado, again east of Denver, sorry guys, down to Garden City and Amarillo for any storms that do develop. They're going to be isolated if they do, up to 60-mile-per-hour gusts for those storms. Next, we do have a risk from Richmond down to Wilmington for 60-mile-per-hour gusts for those storms. And then lastly, again, in Miami, we could see up to 60-mile-per-hour gusts for any storms that develop there. Speaking of Miami, I do think up to $half size hail will be possible from 3 to 8 p.m. The chance of the hail getting above 1 inch in diameter, I think, is pretty good. And then a really low chance that any of the hail will get above golf ball size. I don't think that's going to happen. Now that I said that, it probably will, but in realistic stuff, I don't think it's going to happen in terms of getting it that large. So let's take a look at our dew points getting into tomorrow. That moisture is going to be returning from the Gulf of Mexico, getting up into Kansas and Oklahoma, down into Texas. So the moisture is not going to be a huge issue. I'll get to what the issue will be in just a second. 5:30, still a lot of moisture going up into the area of concern for tomorrow, as well as getting into later on in the evening and even into the overnight hours. This is 2 a.m. getting into Sunday morning. You can actually kind of see where the cold front's going to be coming on in there. 7 a.m. front comes through Oklahoma City. What's the issue? Well, it's not the Cape either. We're going to have that instability basically starting to increase as we get into tomorrow afternoon. This is at 5 p.m. along that 35 corridor. Plenty of instability for that storm development. And as we get into later on in the evening, a lot of instability still in place. And getting into the later evening hours, you can see it starts to drop off, and then we'll get through the evening and overnight hours will start to drop off. Now the big issue tomorrow is going to be the cap. Now we've explained this a few times. A cap is basically a lid on the atmosphere, and we need a certain amount of heat and instability to break through the cap. Now the question tomorrow, will we have enough instability and heat to break through it? We don't really know. It's going to be a pretty strong cap in place. This is at noon tomorrow. You can see the area is going to be relatively quiet in terms of storm coverage because that cap is in place. Getting into 4:35 p.m. you can see it starts to weaken a little bit, but across areas such as Wichita and Oklahoma City, it's still holding. But as we get into the later evening hours, this is at 7 p.m., looks like some storms will try to fire north of Wichita. They may be elevated in nature, though. Cap is still holding in place, although you get into parts of western Texas. Looks like there could be a few isolated storms that will try to go up. And getting into later on in the evening, that cap builds once again. We have to keep an eye on northeastern Kansas and into Kansas City for wind tomorrow, but I mean, otherwise, that cap is going to remain strong. So there may be storms that go up tomorrow. There may be nothing. So guys may really have to do some extra hail dances tomorrow evening because it's going to be a pretty strong cap. So this is for tomorrow's forecast. The hail chances, again, are going to be from Wichita down south to Oklahoma City, down to Abilene. Again, we do have it set for low right now because we are unsure if we're going to be able to break that cap, although I do think we have a better chance in Wichita. If we can get those storms to form, I think up to a 2-inch, maybe tennis ball size hail is possible if we can get the storms to form. A lot of uncertainty is in place for tomorrow, so stay tuned. Wind, same area, up to 60, maybe 70 mile per hour gusts from Wichita down south to Oklahoma City, down to Abilene, maybe as far north as Kansas City as that activity moves through. So this is going to, this is our dew points for the next few days. This is basically right now, we do have some moisture right now, but it doesn't look very impressive. Getting into tomorrow, though, you can see that moisture return starting to increase into Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas. We get into, as we get into Sunday, it slowly moves on to the east, and as it does so, the risk will move slightly to the east as well. Getting into, this is now into Monday, that front is going to slowly move on to the east-southeast, as well as the moisture. So I think along the Gulf Coast, you guys could see severe weather there. And then getting into Tuesday, it's really not going to be moving a whole lot. So the next few days, it could potentially be busy. But taking a look at Sunday, that is Mother's Day. This is the area that we're going to be watching for severe weather. It's going to be from Kentucky down south to Arkansas, maybe including Dallas still. I think it's going to be, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen a little bit earlier in the day. It may be just to the east of you guys, so we have to watch you guys very closely. And then as we get into Monday, the risk will go on to the east-southeast as the front goes a little bit to the east-southeast. So basically Georgia, Alabama, southern Mississippi, Louisiana, and then far southern Texas, you guys will be in the risk on Monday. So thanks for sticking with this, you guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties. It's always me, I swear. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You don't want to miss anything. It's that time of the year. Mother Nature is always full of surprises, as we have already seen a handful of times this year. And if you have any questions, concerns, or if you just want to say hi, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com and check out our website at www.hailtrace.com, where we have more information about our products. We have some bios on there. We're here to help you, so please do not be shy about contacting us. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday.